Section B, social influence. Starting you off nice and easy with the multiple choice, though quite a lot of students did not get all of these answers correct. For the first one, many students incorrectly selected C. D, by process of elimination, fits the statement better. If you think about Zimbardo's prison study, behaviour of guard or prisoner was adopted in a mock prison, so they're adopting a particular behaviour while in a social situation. Some people did not read the question for question 5, and it said select or shade 2 boxes, and some of you just did 1, so you lost out on a mark there. And then resisting social influence, most people knew it was statement C. All the other statements are all about explaining obedience or conformity, so again, that's process of elimination. Findings of one study on minority influence. The main study should have been Moscovici's study, where 2 Confederates, the minority, were instructed to consistently and inconsistently give incorrect answers to the colour of slides. What you need to pay attention for this question is that the question is asking about the findings. So all you are talking about is the study, not the procedure. Some people did give me good details about the study, but you didn't get any credit. It simply was for the results. So if you just have a look, what I'd be expecting people to refer to was the percentage of the majority that changed their mind to the minority when they consistently said the incorrect answer, when they inconsistently said the correct answer, and compare it to a control group. Overall, the study tells us that consistent minorities can change the belief of a majority group. There were a couple of people who did include different studies on minority influence, which were fine, but it tended to be a little bit harder to get the full marks on that one. So some students did not know what study to put and left the question blank. That means you've just clearly not revised that material. And for all 4 marks on that question, you kind of had to refer to all 4 bullet points on that. Authoritarian personality, 8 marks. It's a discuss question. Content you should be including involve what the authoritarian personality actually is, its link to obedience, the traits, and how you assess it. So all of those points there. Often students did not refer to how this personality type is likely to obey, what it is about this personality type. Sometimes as well, people just listed the traits like conventionalism or submissive, but he didn't actually explain an example of what those traits was. A lot of people did not talk about how this can be measured on the F scale and the relationship between the high scoring on this questionnaire and the link with the obedient personality. And when you are talking about where this personality comes from, a lot of people remembered that it came from childhood and to do with parenting styles, which was good, but using words such as having a bad childhood or good, people should have had a good childhood, sounds really simple. What you need to be doing is talking about the idea that this personality comes from strict parenting, using harsh disciplinarian techniques. So just to recap, they're the kind of concepts that I would be expecting to see in this answer. Discussion points. You can talk about evidence, application, and any methodological issues. The points that we'd gone through in class were as follows. Supporting evidence in the replication of the Milgram study showed participants who obeyed to the 450 volts tended to have an authoritarian personality measured on the F scale. There was contradictory evidence about the relationship with parents in those people who had got that personality type. And the fact that it can't explain obedience on a mass scale means there must be other explanations, such as situational factors like legitimacy of authority. So I'd be expecting those points to be thoroughly explained. There was a little bit of confusion over using the real life facts. I think some students had talked about particular events that could be explained by the authoritarian personality. That's a little bit difficult to prove, to be honest, you're better using the point that it can explain individual acts of obedience on a mass scale. Last question, using an example, explain the role of social influence processes in social change. I'd say most people got about level 2, level 3 on this question. Possible content you could use is as follows. So I'd be expecting to see reference to what social change is undertaken by minorities. Minorities have to have a particular style, being consistent, flexible, committed. I'd be expecting to see reference to initiation, maintenance and finalisation of social change. I would also be expecting to see reference to specialist terms being explained rather than just listed. So I would say top grade students really need to be talking about internalisation when the majority truly accept the views of the minority, and using reference to normative influence. The idea of social change being an acceptance of a new social norm and behaviour was often also admitted, and there wasn't much reference to the fact that social change is a really slow and gradual process. Just putting the word in snowball doesn't mean that you are showing the examiner you understand this process. So you really need to explain what the snowball effect is too. This is where a slow change in attitudes begin. It gathers momentum where more and more people internalise the beliefs of the minority. That's really important, and I think without reference to that you would not have got in top band marks. Simply just talking about the basics of initiation, maintenance and finalisation is not enough to get high marks on this question. You also need to refer to an example. However, it's not just enough to bang in the word smoking and think that that's that job covered. Every single point you make needs to be referred back to that example. So what was the actual issue with smoking? The minority was advocating a ban in smoking in public places to protect people's health. What consistent message were they saying? Consistently saying that people die unnecessarily when they're not smokers by being exposed to harmful smoke. What was the majority's opinion about this and what laws have changed? Many people did refer to laws changing, but often didn't say that finalises social change through obedience. That idea was often omitted as well. Okay, so just to finish then, hopefully you've paused this video and been making your amendments on your scripts. What you need to think now about is your reflection, which is on the back page of your scripts. What did you do well and what areas have you got for development? I would like ideally everyone to select 2 of these ideas. Is your strength a certain topic area, or is it an area for improvement, development? So think about that. What about your skills? Are you good at describing something but perhaps not evaluating it? Do you need to give examples and elaborate? Do you understand what's being asked of you in questions? And do you answer appropriately? Do you express your answers clearly? Is this a strength? Is this a weakness? Are you using key terms? How much revision are you doing? You've got to be honest. Are you not doing enough? What could you do to further your understanding? It's not always about necessarily quantity. It's about the quality of the revision that you're doing. Reading your notes and writing them back out. If that's not worked for you, then you need to think of a different strategy. Constantly test yourself before you walk into that exam, that test that we do in class. Your test isn't necessarily what I am setting you. You've got to test yourself before you walk into that classroom. Your action points then. If you're 1 grade below, I want you to look now and pick a couple of questions that you can complete again at home and submit to your teacher for checking. Be reasonable with these. Don't be redoing multiple choice questions. Pick, quite meaty questions that you can have another go at to improve your grade. If you're 2 grades below, you do need to have a chat with your teacher. It's possible that you might be asked to do a full resit, or there might be a certain section that you need to do again, a partial resit. This will be done under time conditions in your next TAP session. If you're 3 or more grades below, or unfortunately didn't achieve your minimum target grade, you will need to do a full resit, again under time conditions, in probably next 2 TAP sessions, or if you do have a free period. Any further questions about any of this content, please see your teachers. Thank you.